A very good evening to everyone present in this very interesting webinar that we have in hand today. So let us get started. Before I move any further, let me introduce myself. My name is Satya. I'm going to be your host for today. I am the quant lead and mentor here at GMATWhiz and also GRE Whiz. That is pretty much about me. And as far as the sections of this webinar go, it's going to be consisting of two sections. First is the main part where we are going to talk about the agenda that we have, that is the data insights specific to data sufficiency questions. And of course, then there's going to be a small Q&A session where, the window is obviously open for Q&A throughout. But if you have any questions, any in general question regarding GMAT, then you can definitely ask in the later stage of the webinar, that is in the last 10 minutes. Okay, that is where the window for a regular Q&A is. Okay, so with that being said, now let us straight away get into the sessions. Now, why do students falter in question, or more specifically, why do people falter in a data sufficiency question? Now, now this is the question that I also want to ask from all of you. Why do you think that people falter in data sufficiency question? Why do you think that is? Anybody over here who has been able to identify their mistakes? Why do they think they falter in DS questions? I would love to hear your answers in the chat section. Why do you think you falter in DS questions, or you do not know at all? You are not doing good in DS questions, but you are not able to figure out why you are not doing good in DS questions. So you can let me know that as well. You can send in your chats publicly, or you can also send it to the admin only, which is going to come to me privately. Okay, so let's try to make this as interactive as possible. Now, as far as my experience goes, if I were to tell that why do students usually falter in DS question, it is gonna go something about this. Number one is they have lack of conceptual clarity. Okay, they do not know the basic concept behind every topics and every modules that are tested in GMAT. Right? For it can be something as basic as what is a prime number. It can be something as basic as that 2 is a prime number. A lot of people do not know that 2 is actually a prime number, or or maybe 2 is the only even prime number. Right, something, a concept as basic as this. If you do not know, you will falter in questions, not only DS but also in PS questions. Number two reasons is because they do not do thorough analysis. DS questions is the complete basis of any DS question is thorough analysis. If you do not analyze and you straight and you jump right into the statements, that is where a lot of people falter. And the last one is being lazy. Right, this basically consists of the first 2 points as well. When you are being lazy to not learn the concepts, when you are basing, not analyzing it thoroughly as thoroughly as one should be, and you straight away jump into the statements and start the analysis of the statements rather than analyzing the question statement itself. Did okay, someone just said me data sufficiency questions are tricky. Of course, data sufficiency questions are tricky. That is the whole reason why we are having this webinar today. My question was, why do you think it is tricky? Have you ever have you ever sat down to analyze why you are not able to do data sufficiency questions specifically? Have you able to identify your pain point or not? If not, then definitely we are gonna try to figure that out together today as much as we can. Okay, but this is broadly the three major points why a student falters in a DS question: not having the conceptual clarity, not doing thorough analysis, and of course, last but not the least, being lazy. Okay, let us move forward to the next one. Now, of course, one of the major things, not only in DS, actually in all of GMAT, is when people fall for obvious steps. You must have seen a lot of such scenarios in on GMAT Club, where the correct answer is, let's say, A, which 63% of you marked, but there is a lot of people who marked option C. There are a lot of people who marked E. Similarly, for this one, if you see approximately 24%, then 17% of the people marked A and C respectively. 40% of the people mark C. So these are the obvious traps that GMAT likes to play around, and DS is their favorite place to play around these traps. Whenever you see a DS question, traps come along with it. You have to be prepared for the traps, okay? And we will be actually talking about a few questions where we will be encountering such traps, and I will tell you how do we avoid that as much as we can. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, now there are of course different categories of trap, right? What are those categories? Type one is constant trap, okay, where you do not where you do not figure out whether what is the constant behind a particular variable. We are going to talk about it in detail as well. Type 2 is multiple variable trap, where we deal with multiple variables in a single question, and that is where the trap falls. For example, the question is asking us the value of x plus y, but we end up finding out the value of x from any particular statement and we mark it sufficient. No, it is not sufficient. I need the value of x plus y, or I need the value of x by y, right? So just getting the variable, just getting the value of a single variable will not give you the variable of both of them, unless you are getting the value of x in terms of y. For example, something like this, then you can find out its value in case of this. That is a different thing altogether. But people do fall for multiple variable traps quite often. Number three is the multiple answer trap. Again, a single statement often tends to give you multiple answers, right? In case of quadratic equation, where you get more than one answers, more than one values of the variable, that is where a lot of people falter. Number two, yeah, number four is the simplification trap, where you are not able to simplify the expression that is either given or it is that you have formed, okay? And the fifth and the last one is the translation trap, which if you're not able to translate it properly. So whenever you're solving DS questions, the error log or the pain points that I am talking about, that all of you should know what is your pain point. Whenever you're solving the DS questions from the next time, try to categorize your mistakes into one of these five mistake and see that what type of mistake you are making the most. You can, if you want, just take a screenshot or note down these traps, these types of traps, these categories of traps. These are the five major types of mistakes that you can make while doing your DS questions. Let me see if I have any chat. I do not have any chat. I would highly encourage all of you, honestly, to make this as interactive as possible. Otherwise, it would not really make much of a sense. Right? You can very easily have the recording of this one. You can just mail to support@gmatwiz.com and they will send you a copy of the recording, right? If it is a live session, I would highly appreciate if you take the advantage of it being live, okay? And that would be making this as interactive as possible for all of you. Anyways, moving on further, is DS different in focus edition? One of the most anticipated question, one of the most asked questions, one of the most misunderstood concept as well. Is DS the same in focus edition? As far as the focus edition goes, I hope all of you already know that DS is no longer part of quant anymore, right? Focus edition is all about quant, verbal, and data insights, which again, data insights consist of five parts, right? There is data sufficiency is just one of the five parts of data insights. There is two-part analysis, there is table analysis, there is graphical interpretation, and of course then there is multi-source reasoning. We are talking about this one, data sufficiency, which comes under DI of the focus edition. Right now, previously it used to be over here DS and PS, but now no, now DS is no longer in the quant section. We just have a problem solving, and as far as verbal goes, we have CR and RC, but this is not our concern. This is not our concern. Our concern today is DS. Now tell me, what do you think? Is DS the same in the focus edition? Yes or no? Is there a yes? Is the is the answer to this question a yes or a no? Can anyone tell me really quickly in the chat? Is DS different or same in the new GMAT Focus edition? Or have you guys, or do you guys have no idea? Okay, Samagra says that it is not different. Okay, if you think, okay, so you think that it's completely same. Okay, anyone else really, really quickly in the chat section? Okay, APC is not exactly the same. Okay, math versus non-math DS. Of course, yeah. I mean, that is a way to say it, because there are further classifications to it as well. That there is math and non-math related DS questions, and same goes for two-part analysis as well, because there are two-part analysis questions also that are math and non-math related. That is not my point of concern. What I am talking about is math. Okay, let's just say that math DS question. Is math DS different in focus edition? A less math focused, kind of a yes or no. Okay, Varshil says no. One topics are eliminated. Okay, yeah, of course. I mean, like geometry is removed, so yeah. But I'm not really talking about that. What I'm talking about is the type of questions any different. The answer to that is not very, I mean, it's not as simple as a yes or a no. The actual answer is yes and no. It is different, but it is not completely different. Correct. Very good, Palak. Very good, Palak. It is more of algebra and arithmetic. It is not completely different, because DS questions will now be focused on pure logic. It will be focused on pure logic and less concept or less pure math question. There will no longer be pure math questions in your DS. Like, for example, is X a prime number, or a random equation, a big equation, or a big inequality is given to you and you need to find out the range. No, that is not happening anymore. It will be purely on logic, and it will based on less concepts, right? You will face less variable types question. There will be a more towards logic. They will be more towards WP, that is word problems, and real world questions. Okay, so this is how the DS has changed. Okay, this is based on our information from the official guide, the new official guide 2023 that we have seen, and of course from the from our students that who have already given the focus edition, right? A question type, of course, the question type is definitely the same, but the concepts that are tested are going to be more logical and less pure math type of question. Okay, and of course geometry is has been eliminated, so yeah, that is there in focus. Okay, I do not see any other chat, so that is pretty much it. So the questions that I have today are gonna based on that, where it's not gonna be a lot of it is not gonna be pure math related. It is gonna be a logic related as well. So let us solve these questions one by one. This is the first question. It is in front of you. Let me bring up the poll for you to mark your answer. Okay, guys, the question is in front of you. The options to the poll is up for you to mark your answer option as well. I will be on mute for couple of minutes, not more than that, just 2 minutes, and then we will start the discussion. 30 seconds more, guys. 30 seconds more. I would encourage all of you to mark something or the other. I would appreciate if you just assume, if you just assume that this to be an exam environment where you have to mark something. So just mark based on whatever analysis that you have done till now, and then we will start the discussion. 30 seconds more. Okay, so the responses that I've got honestly is not very surprising to me, because I have, just I have noted this down in my notebook as well, that there is a very big C trap in this question. There's a very big C trap, and honestly, most of you fell for this trap. If I were to give you the actual distribution, it looks something like this: 10 percentage of you marked B, 70 percentage, good, very good, 70 percentage of you marked C, 10% marked E, and then 10% also went ahead and marked E as the right answer. Okay, a very very clear C trap which most of you fell for. Now there is a two variable or translation trap. As I was talking about the five categories of trap that exists, this belongs to the case where we have two variables, and also somewhat if you are able to translate it properly or not. Okay, so let's do this. Let's read this question first. It says that a certain electronics store offers a deal to its customers who buy three watches of model X, each having the same cost price. Okay, pay the marked price for the first two and a discounted price for the third one. So if a person is buying three watches, he will have to pay the marked price for the first two and a discounted price for the third one. The store makes half profit from the sale of three watches of Model X under this deal than it makes from the two watches of Model X at a marked price. Okay, now what is happening over here? The profit that the storekeeper or the store maker is making by selling three watches is supposed to be more, right? It's supposed to be more, because if I'm selling three watches and another shopkeeper is making, is only selling two watches, I'm supposed to be making more profit, right? Because I'm selling more. But that is not happening. The profit that this shopkeeper is making is half instead. Now why is that happening? That is happening because of the discounted price that the shopkeeper is giving on the third watch. Right now this discount is so much so that eventually his profit is becoming just half of the shopkeeper who is selling two watches, right? This is how you look at it logically. So how much discount is given on the third watch? Now let us look at it on the paper. How does it look like? Okay, there are two scenarios. Okay, if I write it down properly, so there is the first scenario where of course we are selling three watches, W1, W2, and W3, for example. Okay, so let us if I just talk about the selling prices, for example. So how much are these being sold for? This is being sold for marked price, this is being sold for marked price, but the third watch is being sold for marked price minus discount. So this is the discounted price. And what was the cost price? The cost price was of course the same for all three as the question states. So what is the profit in this case? If I were to calculate the profit, that is going to be 3 of MP minus D minus 3 CP. So this is what the cost, this is what the profit is in the first scenario. Similarly, for the second scenario, if you see, let me write this properly. For second scenario, I'm just selling two watches, okay, and these two watches are being sold at the marked price itself, so there is not much to write over here, but just for the sake of it I'm writing, and the cost price remains the same, and the second scenario profit looks like this: 2 times NP minus CP, right? Now, according to this question, my first profit, that is profit 1, my first profit is half of the second profit, right? My first scenario profit, which is supposed to be more because I'm selling 3 watches, is actually the half of the second scenario profit. Okay, so I can actually go ahead and make this equation because I'm translating it properly, and there are two variables. So if I go ahead and just write down this equation is going to look like 3 times NP minus discount minus 3 times CP is actually half of 2 times NP minus CP. Of course, this 2 and 2 gets cancelled out. I get 3 MP minus discount minus 3 CP equals to NP minus CP. Right? If you go ahead and make some changes over here, you will have 2 MP minus discount minus 2 CP equals to 0. So the value of discount, which the question is eventually asking us, the value of discount is going to be 2 times NP minus CP. So this is what I need to find out. This is what the question is asking us. See, I have still not gone into the statements. I am just analyzing whatever is given to me in the question statement itself. I've yet to jump into the statements. Okay, I'm still just analyzing the statements. I'm sorry, I'm just still analyzing the question stem given to me. I have written down all the information that there is. Okay, now what is happening is I need the value of this. Now if you do your analysis properly, this is nothing but marked price minus cost price. What is this? This is nothing but the profit, right? This is nothing but the profit of selling one of the watches, right? So the discount that the shopkeeper gave on the third watch is equal to twice his profit that he's supposed to make on every watch, right? So he gave that much of discount. He gave a discount that was equal to twice his profit that he's supposed to make on every watch. Okay, now if I go ahead and look at the statements, I see that the first one is giving me the market price, right, or the marked price. This is obviously not sufficient, whereas the second one is giving me the profit, which is going to be sufficient, and that is why my answer is going to be option number B. Why? Because my statement number 2 is sufficient. Okay, so is this clear? How did you find this question? Was it interesting? Yes or no? Please let me know. Let me just bring up a poll really quickly if this is clear or not. If it's clear. Please let me know in the chat. You calculate. Okay, Vivek says that he calculated discount percentage. Why would you do that? The question is talking about a discounted price, right? It's talking about discounted price and the discount. Where did discount percentage come from? I mean, of course, the concept is going to be the same, of course. Is this clear, guys? Anyone having any doubt whatsoever? Okay, so the discount was such a big on the third watch that his overall profit, which was supposed to be bigger because he sold 3 watches, his overall profit in the first scenario was only half of the profit in the second scenario. Okay. Okay, great. I see that all of you have understood and this is clear for everyone. That's a good sign. Let us now move to the second question, which is this one. Again, another very interesting question. So let me bring up the poll. Can some of you really quickly just confirm if you can see the poll, yes or no? If you can see the poll, just tell me a yes. Is the poll visible to all of you? Is the poll visible to all of you? Okay, a lot of people are saying no. Okay, I've understood there is some problem with this. Okay, no worries. I'm giving another poll. You guys can start solving. Yeah, the poll should be visible now. Should be visible now. Can you please confirm? Can you please confirm? Vivek, Raghav, Samagra, can you see the poll now? Yes or no? Really quickly. Okay, great. Okay, guys, the question is in front of you. The poll, I guess all of you can see the poll now. I will stay on mute for exactly 2 minutes. Okay, guys, 30 seconds more. Exactly 30 seconds more, and then we shall start the discussion. Okay, so this was one of a very typical uh, DS question that belongs to the focus edition. This is a correct representation of the type of DS question that you can expect in GMAT Focus Edition, right? Because it is so much logic based. Of course, if you want, you can solve it mathematically as well, which I think that a lot of you must have also solved, and I'm going to show you both the ways. By the way, most of you got this question right, and it was that kind of question, right? Where most of you would get it right. Really quickly, let me just solve this for you mathematically, and then we are also going to talk about how this is easy to solve using logic as well. Okay, so just to understand the question really well, let us read it once. It says that Ryan is driving from city A to B, which is 120 miles from city A. So we have a city A, we have a city B, and the total distance between the two cities is given to me as 120 miles. Okay, between A and B. This is 120. Okay, now he drove the first D miles in D hours. So let's just say that this is B. Okay, so first let's just say that this is C. So first this D miles in T hours, right? So this much miles in this many hours, let's just say, and the rest of the distance, that is 120 minus D miles, he covered it in 0.75, which means that he's somewhat decreased, right? He covered the rest of the distance in somewhat lesser time, right? He covered the rest of the distance in the lesser time. Now it tells us, find out the average speed at which he drove the second part of the journey, at what percent more than the average speed at which he drove the first part of the journey, that is the D miles. Okay, now it has been told to us that the average speed in the second part of the journey, which we can assume to be S2, is more. Okay, so this is already given to us that it is a more. Now what does it mean? It means that my 120 minus D, this distance, this particular distance will be more than D or less than D. Can someone tell me this? Can someone tell me this? Which one of them is greater, D or 120 minus D? Can you decipher from this? Yes or no? Can someone tell me? Anyone? Logically, can you say from this? Let me see. Anyone? Yes, very good. We can say that the second part of the journey is more, right? Because because I am covering this distance in a lesser time. So and still my speed is more, which means that my if my speed in the second part of the journey is more, I must have covered more distance in lesser time. I must have covered more distance in lesser time, because my first time was t hours, and my second one is lesser than that, 0.75. Okay. Now what, this is how you can answer it logically, and one should be able to say that just knowing the distance is enough, right? Which means just the first statement is enough and answer is A. This is how one can answer this question very logically as well. There is no need to do any math whatsoever. Okay, but still for some people, let me do the math over here. Let me just form the equations and all again over here, because this also belongs to the two variable trap. Or what is going to be my s1 and s2? My s1 is going to be very simple, d upon t, and my s2 is going to be 120 minus d by 0.75 p. Right now, according to the question, it is asking us that my s2 is what percentage more. So essentially the question is asking us s2 minus s1 upon s1 times 100, which if I write it properly, I get 120 by d 0.75 t minus d upon t divided by d upon t. Okay, now how do I calculate this? I of course cannot just go ahead and cancel the d by t just like that. I cannot do it. So what will I have to do instead of that is I can take the LCM of 0.75 t and t, which if I want I can take as 0.75 t as well, and go ahead and write something like this. Okay, now after doing that, what, my t and t gets cancelled out, and I eventually end up with something like this. Okay, now of course from this part there is no need to do, there is no need to go ahead and calculate this. You should just be able to identify that we need the value of d. We need the value of d to answer this question, which statement number one is giving us very sufficiently. So that is why my answer is going to be d. A second statement is obviously not sufficient, because it doesn't matter what my time is, right? I just know that the second part of the journey I have completed in lesser time, right? As far as the time goes, my first, yeah, my time is more in the first journey, my distance is less in the first journey. That is why my average speed is more in the second journey. So this is how this trend is. The distance is more in the second journey, the time is less in the first, the time is more in the first journey. That is why the speed is more in the second journey. Okay, so I hope all of you understood. Let me bring up this poll really quickly. All of you, please mark in the poll if it is clear, yes or no, really quickly, so that we can move to the. What if the speed increased? What if the speed increased and the distance is not decreased? What do you mean by that? I mean, of course, that can happen, right? That can happen. That can definitely happen, because I'm taking up lesser time. And of course, b, both of them can be same as well. It can be 60 and 60. Just because I've taken lesser time, my speed is more. That is also a possibility. Okay, correct, correct. I mean, yeah, that's what I talked about. That even if, let's say, the total was 120, right? If I'm covering the first part of the journey, let's say that this is where my, let's say that this is point p, for example. If I'm covering this in t, and if I'm covering this in 0.75 t, which is lesser time, the distance can still be equal as well for my speed in this one to be more than speed in this one, because I'm covering it in lesser time. Okay, the inference that I made, that my distance in the second one has to be more than that one, that is just one of the cases. I just eyeballed it. Okay, correct, Vivek. Okay, that is good. Let us now. I hope it is clear, everyone. There's no other chat. We cannot show. I mean, of course, we cannot surely say that, but because I saw this as my as one of my statements that d equals to 40, that is why I assumed it, or rather made the inference as. I hope this is clear. Let us go to the second one. Yeah, this again is a very interesting question. Let me bring up the poll really quickly. You can start solving. The poll is up, guys. I hope all of you can see the poll. I hope all of you can see the poll. The poll is up. The question is also in front of you. When you are done, please mark your answer. 30 seconds more, guys. Another very interesting questions. 30 seconds more, and then we shall start the discussion. Okay, so this one is pretty much all over the place. Honestly, if I were to tell you the proper distribution of the response, it's going to be something like this: 15% of people marked A, 15% of people marked B, 15% of people marked C. So there's 15, 15, 15, and then 7% of people marked D, and then there's a good chunk of people, 46% of people marked uh, E. So right, this is the whole thing, and kind of expected as well, because it is one of those interesting questions. Okay, let us read the question. It says that Paula had made an investment in 2001 that has been growing at fixed rate of 30% every year. And if she did not withdraw any money and all the interest were reinvested, so basically all the interest being reinvested, what does it mean? It means that we are talking about compound interest, right? As soon as something like this comes up, you should be able to immediately be able to infer that we are talking about a compound interest over here, right? What is the value of the investment today? Okay, we made an investment in 2001, right? So let us so if I assume that investment to be X, and so today, so if I were to so today that value of that investment is going to be X times 1.3 to the power T, right? Where T is the number of years, right? T is the number of years. I do not know what today is. Again, one of the mistakes that that a few people can make is they would assume this today to be 2024. No, it doesn't mean today. I mean, because this question was made in some other year, right? So like GMAT will not give you a question where the meaning of it changes, right? So it doesn't mean that okay, I invested in 2001, so it's going to be 23 years from now, so I just write 23 and I just need the value of X to be able to get the answer. No, doesn't mean that. Today means I do not know what the year is. So if you want, you can assume this to be N, or if you want, you can assume this to be T as well. It's the same thing. Okay, so this is what I need the value of. I need the value of this particular thing over here. If I assume this to be F, so this is my final value. This is what I need the value of. Okay, again, if I just want to make sure that I've done all the analysis properly. I need the value of X, or I need the value of T individually. I need their value, or there's some other information that will help me to get the value. It would be great. Okay, the first statement. So now I'm going to the first statement. I've done a lot of analysis before jumping into the statements. Okay, I'm just making sure that I do not fall for that uh, trap of not analyzing properly. Okay, the first statement tells us that the overall growth of the investment from 2001 till today, so the overall growth has been given to me, has been equal to 69 percentage. Now what does it mean? It means that my final amount, that is my final amount, let me just write it like this. So my final amount is a 16% more, right? The growth has been 16%, which means this is 1.69 times of x, or rather I can write 1.69x, or another way to write it would be, I can write something like this: x times 1.3 to the power t equals to 1.69x. Correct? Yes or no? But will this give me the value of it exactly? No. I can, go ahead and cancel out x and x, and I can get the value of t, but it is not fully helpful, right? Just getting the value of t is not sufficient, is not going to be sufficient. Therefore answer cannot be A and answer cannot be D. So the 15 and the 15 percentage of the people who and 7% of the people who marked A and B, now you know what the problem is. From the first statement I can get for how many years the money has been invested, because I know, right? I mean, of course, this part of the thing was also not necessary. This part of thing was also pretty logical to guess, because every year it is increasing by 30% each, and if it has become 69% eventually, I can actually find out the number of years it must have taken to reach to 69 percentage. Okay, so all these mathematical calculations that I'm doing are sort of logical as well. There's no need to actually go ahead and do this. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Statement number 2, where a lot of translation will take place. As I said, DS is gonna be mostly based on word problem now in the GMAT Focus edition. So you have to be very good with your translations. Okay, a very good translation lesson in the second statement. If you read properly, if she had withdrawn $600 a year from today, again I'm talking about today, okay, so I'm talking about t minus 1 year. If she would have withdrawn that much of amount, then her value of investment today would have been 13% less than what it is actually worth now. Okay, let's just say that in 2001 she invested x amount. Okay, and let's just say today her, the the value is, let's just say f. Okay, I have assumed that this thing is f, so let's just deal with it f. Okay, now 1 year ago, if at this point, let's just say this is 1 year ago, what would have been the value of the amount in, in terms of f? What would have been the value? Can someone tell me what would have been the value in terms of x in terms of f, given that the value is increasing? How can we say interest is reinvested? It's a CI. Why is it a simple interest and the interest earned is reinvested? If see, what is happening is what happens in a compound interest. What is the basic difference between a compound interest and a simple interest? Every year, the interest that you get from every year, yearly, that the interest that you get gets added to your principal, right? That is what compound interest is. Okay, very good, Varshal. Very good. Absolutely correct. This is going to be the value 1 year ago is going to be f divided by 1.3. Did all of you understand this? How we get this? The year the value of the investment a year ago is going to be f divided by 1.3, because what happens is every year my value increases by 1.3. Right, so if I go from this to this, I multiply 1.3. Right, so if I'm coming backwards, what I'll have to do is I'll have to divide 1.3. So if I were to ask you what would have been the value 2 years ago, you would have told me f divided by 1.3 whole square, because the value gets divided by 1.3 twice. Okay, so the value 1 year ago would have been f divided by 1.3. Now this is the usual scenario that we're talking about. Now if I come to the hypothetical scenario, that is given over here is, if she would have withdrawn 600 a year ago from today, which means if the value a year ago would have been this much minus 600, then the value of the investment today would have been 13% less, which means that f divided by 1.3 minus 600, which means this much money, if this much money would have continued to grow for another year, which means if I multiply this thing with another 1.3, this would have given me an amount that would have been 13% less than the actual worth, which means f minus 13f by 100. Did all of you understand this translation? Yes or no? Can all of you understand this translation? Yes or no? Please let me know in the chat. Is this translation understandable to all of you? Okay, that's great. What about others? What about others? Okay, EP says yes, Varshal says yes, MC says yes. Correct. Now, this is what this question was all about. If you are able to translate this to get this much, will we go ahead and solve this? Of course, there is no need to solve this, because this will eventually give us the value of f very easily. That is exactly what we are set to find out. Okay, and of course this makes statement number 2 sufficient and answer option number B. Okay, let me know if this is clear. Let me bring up a poll really quickly. And and please let me know, how are you finding these questions? Anyone having any question or anything to say about these questions? These questions. The poll is up, guys. Please let me know if this is clear, yes or no, really quickly. I mean, this is how they usually give it, Vivek. What I would want you to do is you go to GMAT Club and you search this particular phrase. You search this particular phrase, interest was reinvested, or just search interest reinvested. Okay, and you will find a lot of questions with this statement. I don't know how you have not come across this particular statement before, but yeah, this is how they give. Not really tough, definitely slightly on the medium to hard level, but not really. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. If interests are being reinvested, it means that it is CI. It's pretty logical. So if you get a statement something like this, you should assume that we are dealing with compound interest. Okay, I mean, that is the basic difference between a simple interest and a compound interest, right? Simple interest, you invest your money for some amount of time, for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years, and then you take out the interest plus the principal that you take out your amount. But what happens in a compound interest, we used to I mean, I don't know if you're from India or not, but India, if you have been in India, at very early stage in our school, we used to calculate the compound interest like this. The interest for the first year gets added to my principal for the second year, right? So that is how we used to do. So that is, the basic concept behind the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Okay, that's great then. Okay, okay, great. Let us now move forward. But before we move forward, let me just quickly bring something into your attention. We are currently, a sale is going on our platform, that is GMATWhiz.com. We are, giving away our courses up to 44 percentage of discount. It is the Easter sale that is going on. I would highly encourage all of you to go ahead and look at the plans for yourself and see which one suits for you. It doesn't matter at what stage of the prep you are at right now. GMATWhiz has a plan for you. If you are a beginner, if you are someone who are at your later stages and just want to be, just want to fine tune your concepts, we are here for you. Let me give you a very quick link for you to follow, and just go through the plans. Apart from this, we also offer a one-on-one tutoring sessions as well. This that you see on your screen, these are just uh, the self-paced online course, but you can also go for private tutoring sessions. Okay, we are one of the very few who are offering one-on-one private tutoring as well in the industry. So be sure to go ahead and check that out as well. I've given you the link to that as well. I don't know for how long this particular sale of 44 percentage off is gonna go, so go ahead really quickly and grab this wonderful opportunity before it exhausts. Okay, I hope everything is clear. But still, we have to be careful. Of course, Vivek, we have to be careful of the language they use in GMAT, so you can be rest assured of that. Okay, hope this is understood to all of you. Let us, very quickly go ahead and solve a question that is from the official guide itself. I will come back to this question number 4, but before that, let us do this question. Very interesting, easy question. This is from the very recent OG. This particular question, I took it from the official source. This is from OG 23. Uh, this was either from the OG 23, or it was from the GMAT prep. It was from the GMAT prep focus. This either one of these sources. I'm not sure, but it is definitely an official source question, either from the OG, or from the GMAT prep focus edition. One of these two. Definitely, let us quickly go through this. Let me bring up the poll for you. I hope all of you can see the poll. The question is also in front of you. When you're ready, please mark your answer. 30 seconds more, guys, and then we shall start solving this question. Okay, so this one is also a very like all over the place. Okay, but luckily majority of you got this right, and I have a fair understanding of the people who got it wrong and why. Okay, let me tell you really quickly. If I were to tell you the distribution, 41 percentage of you marked B, which is the correct answer. By the way, B is the right answer, which 41 percentage of you marked. But the next closest answer, which a lot of you marked and I expected, was D. Most of you like most of you the as far as the incorrect choice goes, most of you marked D, and I would understand why that is, and let me explain you why there is a D trap, as we can call over here, right? The question talks about that in the same period of time. So let's just say in T time, a sports car traveled 120 miles and a truck traveled 100 miles. So we are just talking about the same amount of time, right? So the time is constant over here, and we are dealing with two different distances over here, right? 120 miles and 100 miles. So now what is the how is these three things related when we talk about speed, distance, and time? I know that distance is equal to a speed into time, right? So if t is a constant, then I can practically remove this and say that distance is sort of directly proportional to speed, right? If it means that my speed of sports car has to be more than my speed of the truck, right? Because truck is only traveling 100 miles and the car is traveling 102 miles. Now the truck and the question is asking us what is the average speed of the truck. If I were to lay it down on a DST table, which we usually recommend on our GMATWhiz course, if someone is already using the GMATWhiz course, they should know what I'm talking about, right? So if I'm talking about, let's say, car and truck separately, then the distance is the car is covering 120 distance and the truck is covering 100 distance, right? In the same time, right? Let's say T and T. So, where did it go? Wait a minute. Yeah. Now, the speed in of car, let's say, is S1, and speed of the truck is S2. Then the value of T is going to be, this t is going to be 120 by s1, and the value of this t is going to be 100 upon s2, which means I can say that 120 upon s1 is equal to 100 upon s2. And the question is asking us the average speed of the truck, which means I need the value of s2. This is what I need the value of. Okay, That's it. There is nothing else to pre-analyze over here, right? So now let us get to the statements. The first statement tells me, and let us also understand why this is not sufficient. Okay, and also this will also answer the people who marked D as the answer. Why did they think this to be sufficient? During the first 30 minutes, the sports car traveled 30 miles. Did you or did you not go ahead and find out the value of S2 from here directly? Right? Did you or did you not find out the average speed of the truck, or rather the average speed of the sports car from this one? Yes or no? I want all of you to tell me this. Did you or did you not find out the value of S1 from it? We know that distance is speed into time, so the value of S is going to be 30. That is the distance divided by the time. That is, 30 minutes. If I assume this to be half an hour, you must have calculated it like this, that 60 miles per hour, that the speed of the car is 60 miles per hour. And if you know this, you can obviously put this value of S1 over here to get the value of S2 as well. Did you or did you not do this? Yes or no? I'm talking to everyone who marked D. Please let me know. Yes, so this is where you falter. Yes, so Varshil is saying yes, Vivek is saying yes. Yes, you must have done this, but this is where it gets interesting. We are talking about average speed, right? And this statement is only talking about the first 30 minutes. Nowhere has it mentioned that the car was traveling at a constant speed throughout the journey. It's not mentioned in the question. They will very specific in GMAT. They are very specific about these kind of things. They will mention constant speed if the speed is the same. This statement only gives me the information about the first 30 minutes. We do not know if the travel time was only 30 minutes or there was more than that. What if the total amount of the journey, or like the total time of the journey, was 40 minutes? He traveled in the first 30 minutes, he traveled 30 miles, and in the next 10 minutes, he traveled, yeah, let's just say 50 miles. Why not? Okay, he can definitely increase and decrease his speed throughout the journey. That is where the concept of average speed comes from, right? What is the difference between speed and average speed? Speed is distance by time, and average speed is total distance by total time. I don't know the total distance. I mean, I do know the total distance traveled by the truck is 100, but I don't know the total time of the journey, whether it was 30 minutes only or were there more than 30 minutes. I don't know that. So this is what is making this particular statement insufficient. I'm just saying that speed for the first 30 minutes cannot be used to generalize the speed of the sports car. Very good, very good, MC. I didn't do it the way you mentioned. Okay, assume total time to be t equals to 120, 90. Where is 90 coming from? Find out t, which came out to be a quadratic. I'm not sure what you are trying to do over here. You assume the total time to be t, okay. Then you do t equals to 120 divided by. Where is 90 coming from? Where are you getting 90 from? Okay. So 120 miles. So rest 90 in t minus 0.5. Find out t, which came out to be quadratic. Did you go ahead and solve that? Did you go ahead and solve that quadratic? Did you go ahead and solve that quadratic? Yes or no? There was no need to find that. What can potentially happen while solving that quadratic is, yes, what are the two variables that you got for t? I would love to know the two variables that you got for t. It's impossible to get the value of t from there. It's just absolutely impossible. Because again, let's not talk about mathematics for once. How can I find out the total time of the journey if my first 30 minutes took me 30 miles? the rest of the 90 miles that we are talking about, out of 120 miles, 90 miles are, 90 miles are left. How can we find out how much time it must have taken to cover the rest of the 90 miles? Makes no sense. I would love to know what are the two values of t that, yeah, that came out of that quadratic equation. It's not possible to get it from there. Okay, so this particular thing is very logically not sufficient. Okay, so you absolutely have to not do anything whatsoever in statement number one to call it not sufficient. Okay, talking about statement number two, it tells you that the truck's average speed, which means truck's average speed is s2, was 10 miles per hour less than that of sports car. It means that, again, very very basic translation over here, s2 equals to s1 minus 10. So this is one of the equations that you got, and you can use this as your second equation to solve for the value of s1 and s2 both. You will get the value of s1 and s2 both very easily, which makes my statement number 2 sufficient. And I hope all of you understood how option B is the right answer in this question and not option number D. Why is there a D trap in this question? Because of the concept of constant speed. Remember the categories of mistake that we were talking about? This is the first category mistake of not knowing the concepts properly, where there is lack of conceptual clarity. Okay, let me bring this up really quickly. I hope all of you understood. Let me bring up the poll really quickly, if this is clear. Let me know if this is clear, guys. All of you. Hope this should be clear. Hope you like this question really. One of my favorite questions to make people understand how the lack of conceptual clarity can lead you to wrong answers. Okay. This was it, guys, as far as today's session goes. The Q&A session starts now, so if you have any question regarding anything in general, GMAT Focus Edition, feel free to reach out to me. Till then, let me just quickly tell you about the free trial that you can register for at GMATWhiz.com. Go ahead, definitely I would encourage all of you to at least try for, just go for the free trial and see how our particular platform can help you. There are a few modules and sections and topics that you can access in free trial, just to see the way that we approach a teaching for GMAT, quant, verbal, data, insights, everything you will get. And then you can make the right decision whether you want to go ahead with GMATWhiz or not for your GMAT journey. You can write to support, you can contact us on the WhatsApp number as well. If you are looking for any type of consultancy, or if you're not sure about how to go about your GMAT journey and all, you can book a very free call with our expert, with our CEO, Piyush Periwala. Let me give you do book a free call. Let me give you the link. This is the link to book the free call, guys, and I have already given you the link for the self-paced courses and the personal tutoring courses, so you can go through that as well. Let me give that to you really quickly again. uh Vibhor says bonus question. There's nothing as bonus questions. I mean, we did skip this one question. If you want, you can give this one a shot. Okay, and just try to do this yourself and get back to me if you have any doubts regarding this. If I were to tell you the answer for this question is going to be option number A. So you can give this a shot yourself. Okay, and if you have any doubts, definitely reach out to me. I'm going to give you my email ID as well over here. You can take a screenshot. I hope you have. Let me come back to this particular page, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the chat section. Let me give you my email ID for you all to reach out to me if needed. I've given you my email ID, satyam@gmatwiz.com. If you have any doubts, I am here for a few minutes. If you do not have any questions to ask me, you can drop off the session. That would be an indicator for me. Okay, guys, it was a lovely session. Thank you so much for being interactive, being as much interactive as you could. It was a lovely session. Thank you so much. And as always, I will see you around somewhere. Okay. I've given you all the information. I've given you my email ID. I've given you the links to book your free call as well with the consult with Piyush as well. So that should help you a lot. Okay. And that should be it. All the best, everyone. Thank you so much. See you around.